Welcome to Martini's Up, a podcast for PAs by PAs. Welcome to the third episode, everybody. I'm very happy to be recording again. We got a lot to get into. We're going to be talking about Just Set. Shocker, right? Stay tuned. We are going to have a very fun episode. I introduced my guest, which is going to be the most exciting of the, I guess we could call this a season because it's a whole show now. So yeah, stay tuned. Stick around. It's Martini's Up.
This week he mopping floors, next week is the fries, so...
All right, okay. Welcome back to Martini's Up, everybody. Yeah, some light acrylic energy, big acrylic energy in the room today. So before we get started on today's show, I did want to, update you guys. It's been about 2 to 3 months since I recorded the first 2 episodes of Martini's Up, and let's just say I've learned a lot of do's and don'ts. Some of them things I'm still doing, and some of them don'ts I'm still don'ting. So yeah, we're here. But I did want to get some housekeeping things out of the way just to let everybody know where I'm at with the show and what we're doing and the whole process of everything. So to start off, I do want to say episodes will be tri-weekly, okay? I don't have time to completely edit an entire show by myself every week or every 2 weeks, and I'm alone in this. So if you got a problem with that, maybe say it to my face or fuck off, or maybe come help me edit. I could use another editor who's got some comedic chops and knows what they're doing on the audio scene. So thank you for that. But yeah, we're turning this into a tri-weekly thing. Look out for me basically once a month, sometimes twice a month. It's all a feeling.
I said what I said.
The second thing I wanted to get out the way was I don't want to get sued. So we are going to change the format of the show. And listen, the industry is tight-lipped, and that's for a reason. And there's a lot of people who want to hide why the industry is tight-lipped. We're obviously not doing that on this podcast, and it sort of feels like I'm putting a target on my back. I just want to be clear on some things. One, this podcast is to talk some shit, but about things that directly relate to us as the PAs, aka the little guys in the industry.
No, your statement is over. It's my turn to talk.
We aren't unionized. It's a massive industry. This is not a gossip podcast. We're not here to expose people. It's more of a therapy session. We're here to unload some things about our day that no one ever asks us about. Surprise.
Why do you think the song Niggas in Paris is called Niggas in Paris? Because niggas was in Paris.
Another thing is, I don't want my guests to get sued or blacklisted. So we're going to turn the show into more of an invisibility thing. Think Harry Potter.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm going to try to give my guests like some sort of invisibility cloak. And I want them to feel more free when they come onto the show to give themselves a nickname, or they can even we're working on voice distortion so that we can keep people completely safe from the world of getting blacklisted or sued. And I want them to be able to talk about whatever they want to talk about without feeling like, damn, that guy that I am talking shit about is listening and I might not get that job next week. So I don't want that to be my fault. I don't want to hear about you after you're done with the show. I don't want any of that to be my responsibility. So introducing the invisibility cloak. You will see it play out. I think today we'll see what happens with my guest. And lastly, how cool is it that people want to hear me talk for over an hour and a half with somebody else that they probably do not know, or maybe you're just listening to your friend talk for an hour and a half and you don't know me. So all of this is very alarming and cool. And I kind of live. So thank you to everybody who has listened.
I don't know what the fuck she's saying, but girl, I am living.
I appreciate you all. I don't really do the like, share, subscribe thing here. I'm not here to keep promoting you to promote your friends to listen to this podcast. Actually, if I'm being honest, the less people listening, the better for me and my chances of getting sued. So
Keep it on the low.
I think I am gonna kind of privatize the whole thing after a while, and then we'll be this all little tight-knit family that are stuck in the same closet together. It'll be great. But anyways, now that we got the housekeeping details out of the way, let's get the show started, eh? It's gonna be an exciting one. Our guest this week will be, well, we'll see what her nickname or her real name will be. She's Acrylics. Thank you. We're gonna be discussing a lot. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back. We are back. Our guest this week is Amber M. because we don't share last names here. You will never know. We are going to be discussing her journey through the industry as a PA and what it was like trying to get into the Directors Guild of America, all of that stuff. So welcome to episode 3, which I have appropriately titled Quiet on Set, We're Rolling. And also welcome to Martini's Up Podcast, a podcast for PAs, by PAs, but this week we invited an AD on.
Yeah.
A lot of questions. But anyways, without further ado, please welcome Amber. Sorry about the audio. That's gonna blow someone's...
We'll figure it out.
Welcome to the show. What's up, love?
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm kind of happy that you decided to like give your name and stuff because now I can get into the full like... This is my mentor, everybody.
No, stop.
If you think that I'm that bitch, when you come on set and you see me running it and I am that bitch, I am cool, but like... Could you believe there was a time when I didn't know what I was doing?
Listen, I feel like you always knew what you were doing. You were always listen. No. You always had
like I always knew what I was doing?
You always had like the confidence of like I will figure it out. And I'm like, that's what I loved about you is that you were very much like I'm gonna be hands on. Am I talking too loud?
No.
I'm like,
God.
I don't know if you know this, but I was known as the loudest PA in New York for a very long time, and probably still.
You probably are, and
Honestly,
that's what's most fun about you. No. Okay, well, I think that through all of that gibberish, somebody did understand that we have a relationship beyond this podcast.
Maybe.
And yeah, love you, bitch. 5 years in for me, and I think from day one of meeting you is where my actual career as a PA started. And from spending 5 to 6 months with you on my first staff job, that was like what we could call that boot camp. A terrible version of boot camp.
I still remember when I called you for that job, and I was like, "Hey, you want to?"
And I still remember I was like, "Wait, you're a PA, but like you could hire me as a PA?" Like,
I was like, "Yeah."
What? And it really does work like that, ladies and gentlemen. So I think you're the best. Even at the time, I thought you were the most experienced PA in the game. I remember me and all your other friends begging you to stop being a PA because you were you hit your you were almost too smart for the position at one point, which made you like
bitter. I was sad.
Crazy. Yeah. So I'm happy for you that you decided to put your guild in. But let's talk about it. Where'd you start PAing and explain to the audience first, like, what you do.
Okay, so what I do now, I'm like trying to, I'm seconding on like some stuff, and then I'm also mainly like base camp AD or additional second. I just came back from DC. I was working as an additional on a movie that will come out on Netflix. And I've been kind of transitioning into movies. I've been working a couple more movies instead of TV, which is different for New York because New York is a big like TV central.
TV cesspool.
But it's like a different vibe to work like on a movie versus like a TV show, because TV shows I feel like everybody gets really like they're sick of each other because it's too long, whereas movies like all right, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's like
it's a marathon versus the sprint.
Exactly. So but I started PAing. My first PA day was in 2010, which was I was working in Philly and I was working on American Idol.
No, we're not going to give you any love. It's a terrible audition.
Opinion don't mean nothing.
Pardon? Then why are you here?
Opinion don't mean nothing.
Then why are you here?
Because you don't leave no stone unturned.
Then why are you here?
What you know about music?
Well, why are you here?
Why am I here?
Yeah.
Why are you here?
I'm here to judge you, sweetheart.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm here to sing. You don't know nothing
We
about
didn't like
music.
the singing. That's the rule.
And I did.
I didn't know that.
I did. I worked American Idol.
Did you meet some Ryan Seacrest?
I know what? I worked. It was J-Lo was also there. It was like a lot, dude. They were literally like, does anybody know how to be a camera PA? And me was just like, yes. I said yes to everything. I lied. I just straight up lied. I was like, oh, totally. Oh, yeah. I've camera PA'd all the time. Like, all right, great. You're going to be by the camera for like the interviews and stuff, like after they had already seen the judges.
Very cool.
So that was cool. But I did that. And I kind of just like anything that came to Philly, like they had like New York has like the production Facebook groups and stuff. Like Philly has the same thing. So like anytime that there was like, hey, we need PAs. Okay. But the PA rate in Philly, because their minimum wage is still $7.
You're fucking lying.
To this day, I was being paid $125 for 12, and it's still the exact same rate. The minimum wage in Philly has not gone up. So it's still, it could be worse. It could be worse.
PA for $125.
Bro, this is like 10 years ago. It was bad. And like it, so anyway, but I mean like it was, you know, and then I actually started taking the Amtrak up to New York. I started working on like Billy on the Street was like one of my was the main one I worked on, which was the most fun show to work on.
Yeah, what? That's like a dream job.
It was.
We love bothering people in New York. Oh my God,
it was, and I was the release PA.
Oh.
So it was me and like 20 PAs, and then like Billy would run up and be like, "How do you feel about Bones?" And then he would like run away, and then I would come by and be like, "Oh my God, my producer's saying you are so funny. You could please sign this release. Be on television. Your kids will love it." And it's just, I followed a man on the PATH train all the way back to Jersey City just to get him to sign this fucking piece of paper. And I'm like, calling him on the phone. I'm like, I got it. I'm coming back from Jersey City. And you would literally just like, I don't even know how I wasn't stabbed. I was like so young and naive, and I was like just following people into the subway, being like, please sign this paper. They need you on this thing. Like it was the most fun show I worked on. And
that sounds fun as fuck. What?
And then I started rolling into doing like union stuff, and I've been I kind of rolled in one thing to another thing. I mean, Blacklist, and I did Blue Bloods, and God Friended Me, and Evil. Like all the shows I've done. Name a show.
Nigga, ask about me. Nigga, ask about me. I'm a hustler.
Right, like ask about her, ladies and gentlemen, for real. But I think we discussed last episode different PA positions. So what exact PA positions have you done? And then can you kind of explain what I explain ADs, but you are the AD, the first one we've had on. So try to explain what a key second is versus a second.
Okay, so I've done every PA position. I've keyed, I've done paperwork, I've done background, I've done walkies, which I've done walkies. I've done it all. I've done all of the first team, all the PA positions.
All star.
I got all. I was
all star.
I was a little bit of a baby overachiever, where it was I was like, no, I couldn't possibly do in the DGA. I have to do everything, and I have to be the very best at every single position before I could even dream of doing. Anyway, I don't recommend. I mean, like I said, I've changed my perspective on like after seeing. Oh God, I don't want to talk too much shit, but I
leave a name out.
I'm not even names. I'm just saying like. When you get out, once you put your book in, right, and then you go around and you're like additional ADing, and you kind of see like where the standards are,
right? You realize,
and then you're like, wow, I guess I didn't need to work as hard as I did, but maybe you do. I don't know.
That's not talking shit. I knew that from the first day ever. You don't have to admit that much energy in this job.
I know.
Because look at Gaga. She's the creative director of Polaroid. I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about cameras?
So a key second is, let's start with about the bottom. So like not the bottom, but additional AD is usually like the first kind of positions that you'll get once you join the guild. It's basically just, I like to see it as basically you're just like another background runner essentially, mostly, or usually with first team. You're there to like help out if there's extra background days, or if there's like an extra hard logistical day when it comes to, first team or like a location or something. Like you're there to help out the second or the key second in whatever way that they need done. And it's like, that's like usually like the first thing that you'll probably end up getting.
Okay.
Then once you get around enough, then you'll become a second, which is essentially like the first AD's like right hand, and you're on set with the first AD, making sure that set runs smoothly, and you're also placing all of the background and making sure that all that runs smoothly.
Okay.
And if you're in like not a location that's not New York, the second's also in charge of like doing the PR, which is from your last episode is like the production report that the paperwork PA does in New York. But imagine like being a second, being on set all
day,
goddamn day,
and then they're like, stay after work.
Oh, and they're
for
like,
6 hours?
oh yeah, please finish the production for it. I would, but no.
There's a reason that it's broken up.
There's a reason. There's a reason. Like maybe a base camp. I don't know. But then there's a base camp AD on some productions. A lot more productions are doing base camp AD, and they're essentially just to kind of alleviate the stress of the key second. So that way the key second could just focus on like the call sheet and like the things for tomorrow. So the base camp AD will essentially like make sure that the first team is running smoothly.
Right.
And then you have your key second, who is making the call sheet for the next day, and making sure that all like the logistics are ready for like the crew getting places, and like the actors know where they're going, and like all that stuff for the next day's work. And then the first AD is like the main bitch.
Queen bitch, supreme bitch.
Like, runs the set with
bitch.
like, talks with the director about what the director wants, and like, make sure things are like running smoothly, on time, and safely.
What do you prefer now that you've done both and a lot of both? Which one is like, I'm good, and let's take money out of the scenario, because once again, $15 an hour, ladies and gentlemen.
There's no way to go. Once again, why? You said it, the rent is too damn high.
The minimum wage is not great.
Not great.
Never gonna forget about that. But besides the money, which one is better?
I think that I really, really like I like being an additional AD. I love it. I think
like
that
being in charge, but not the main bitch in charge.
Exactly. I love being able to hop from somewhere to somewhere else and be able to go in like fresh. And you make enough money where you can kind of like, again, taking money out of it even. Like, I like being, like this week, like I worked Monday and I'm gonna work Friday. And then I'm like, I'll be good. Like I'll be making more than I did as a full week as a PA just for like working those 2 days. And you can be able to like make dinner for yourself, like have a moment of
the life part.
But you have to know enough. And I think that's also a reason why, like, when you PA for so long, is that like then everybody knows you. Well, not everybody. I mean, you have a bigger group of people that know you. So when you want an additional AD, you could get hit up by like a bunch of different people instead of just like.
So you set yourself up pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you very much.
I'm very happy.
It wasn't
about
intentional,
that.
but it worked out that way anyway.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Who wants to fucking get bogged down by like a 6-month job as an AD, and you're like at the end of that chain smoking cigarettes and wishing death on your children?
Exactly. And then the thing that's like funny is that like when you go in as an additional AD, everybody not to be whatever, but everybody kind of like loves you because you have like a fresh. You're like coming in hot. You're coming in fresh.
The positive one. You haven't been there for 2 weeks.
People are like, Amber, like, or like if you like sub in for like a second or something, right? Like people are like, oh my god, like why aren't you here all the time? And it's like, well, first of all, I would be just like that if I was here, because I'd be dealing with y'all for 10 months, and I would also want to kill you. I'm the substitute teacher. I feed you full of sugar, and then I get the fuck out.
I taught school for 20 years in the inner city, so don't even think about messing with me. Y'all feel me?
Okay, well, thank you for that. Very informative. I'm super happy. We did learn what an AD is. We learned what a key second is. We learned a lot of stuff.
My greatest pain in life is I will never be able to see me perform.
Now I want to get to the juice.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
So talk to me. What's your greatest moment on set? You have a lot of experience, so I will give you the Jeopardy music and post.
Oh my God.
To really think. But what is the greatest moment on set?
Greatest moment on set. Like. I mean, I think that. I think anytime. Okay, can I
6.5 hours later.
This is gonna sound so dumb because I literally just came from there, but I think that like working in DC where we had like almost like 1,000 background, and we were doing like we were working on this movie that is based on the man who organized the civil rights movement, the March on Washington.
Okay.
So we had like it was a period piece, like almost like 1,000 background, and we were like filming like at like Lincoln Memorial and like all these kind of crazy places. And
that's kind of sick.
And it was like just like this sheer amount of background and being able to like get this to look exactly like photographs from that time, and like everybody really, really cared about this project, and just like being able just to run around and being able to like get things to look, and then when you watch it back and you're like, holy shit, like this looks so like this is art. Like this isn't just, you're not just like telling people to walk in a straight line, like you're really like you're making something that matters.
Right.
And
that's cool.
And it's and I know it like I guess I mean that's just from ADing, but do I want one from PAing? I can't really like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Essentially, if somebody asked me my greatest moment on set, I think I would name something similar, but as a background PA. So it's sort of very similar, the jobs, a little bit. Just like helping to create a picture.
Exactly. And
but give us one from PAing then.
I mean, I think that from PAing, I loved background so much. I ran background for a long time, and I love doing background. And I think that when you have a really good group of people where you don't have to just like, where they're also helping you out, so they're making your job easier by doing that. Like I worked on the show, I could say the name of the show, it was Instinct years ago, and that was like the best group of core background that I had. I see them on sets now, and I still like run into them, and I'm always happy to see them. Like it's just,
that's kind of nice. I love when the relationship is just like, hey girl, every job you go on, and they're like, and all the background are just looking like, what's so special about her? You about to find out.
Exactly.
Bitch.
And then you always know that you could like depend on them to do something complicated, where it's like, I need somebody who will be able to like make this counter happen without like distracting from like the actors coming in. And I'm like, I know these 5 are good at what they do. I've known them a long time, like that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, I think that it's just like, I think people don't take, I don't want to say like respect the background, but people don't like, they don't respect the background, and they don't kind of like respect what their job is. They just see them as like cattle to herd. word, and it's not.
It's really
that's not what it is.
And I tell all like other PAs who ask me like, why does it look like you're so good? Like, why do you enjoy this? Is because I don't treat them like cattle, and they actually start giving you like gifts. There's so many perks to like being a human to other humans.
Oh yeah,
you have no idea.
And it's just like even like simple things where it's like people are afraid to like ask to use the bathroom, and I'm like, please go drink water, use the bathroom.
To what?
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, that's what's rough is like just seeing like the mistreatment of people, and they're just trying to do their job. I mean, listen, there's always gonna be bad like there's a few bad background, but like it's not like the majority of
less
everybody.
bad, and it depends on your attitude whether or not they'll be stinky towards you or just bizarre. I've had a lot more bizarre background stories than I've had.
Oh my god!
Except for this one lady called me racist, and I was just like, this European, this like Eastern European lady. I was like, what did I say to you that was racist? Even then, that was more. I handled that I think with like class, sent her in the car home, whatever. That was more of a bizarre.
The wife got a big butt, and I just see our life becoming more and more and more like The Incredibles until we can finally fly.
People tell me how background are screaming at them. I'm like,
I'm
curse
not
at them.
dealing with that.
I've never had it, but I think a lot of it is the energy.
That's not true because I've been yelled at by background before.
Hey, good morning, Kanye.
Shut the fuck up.
Usually what it is like not, and again, this isn't like everybody. It's always these like weird little cases. I had to tell a background to go home because he got into like a fist fight with another background. I don't know what show this was, but it was like we were filming something. It was supposed to be like a sweet 16 birthday party, and these were kids who were older that were casted to look younger. And we had like 600 like of these like background that was pre-COVID, pre-whatever, and then these two people got in a fist fight like in holding, and so I was like, yo, like you guys are not invited back because you're there for the full week. I'm like, you guys are not coming back tomorrow. Like, sorry about it. I don't know how that was my job as the background PA to tell them that.
It always is.
But like I was like, listen, like you guys aren't coming back, and then they tried to get like loud with me, and I was just like, listen. I'm like, one, don't talk to me like that, and I was like, two, and I was like, I'm just walking away because like, what are you gonna do? Like, what was like, you did this.
Coming back.
You fucked this for yourself. Like, this is not our fault. But
Did I lie? Did I lie? Did I fucking lie?
Every episode we define what it is to be a PA, and then I play some cute little Jeopardy music. Yeah, it's fun. What do you think a PA is? I'm kind of tired of this. I'm not gonna say a definition this episode. Why? Because mine, I found out it's kind of just been the same every week.
Yeah.
So you got the floor, girl.
I think that a PA is the information center of the production. PA should, in my opinion, the first AD and the second should be saying what's happening on the walkie to the point where any additional PA on a lockup knows what scene we're on, what we're doing, and what's happening. Like, I think that any crew member should be able to go to any PA and say, hey, what scene are we on? Mm-hmm. And they'll be able to know it without having to, like, fumble around, like, whatever. Like, I think that that's the idea, and that all depends
from
on
additionals. You think additionals?
I mean, like, listen, I just think that, again, it all depends on who your first AD is, it all depends on who your seconds are, like, but if you're saying the information, like, you should be retaining you should at least know what scene they're on. I think that you should, or, like, if we're locked up. Those are the things that you should know. If you're a PA that
at least know that we're additional PAs out there.
I think that my standards are high because I am a little baby back bitch.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs. Excuse me. Chili, baby back.
But I admit that. I admit that. I just think that you should at least have if the first AD or the second is saying something on the walkie, you should at least kind of know what they're listening.
God damn, that's the bare minimum.
Bare minimum. I mean, and I'm trying to be real nice. I'm trying to like that's me being really, really nice about it. Like that's what I think. But yeah, I think that our job, like the PA's job, and the AD department job as a whole is just having the information on what we're doing, and also obviously safety. You're keeping an eye. If you're a PA that's on a traffic lockup, you're supposed to be keeping track of, like, making sure the cars aren't blowing through it, or like those goddamn electric bikes that keep going down the wrong way.
Terrible.
Like, it's just like you should be able to know, you should know what's going on. Like, maybe you don't know like all the actors by their names or anything like that, but you should know
the information. I like the information. You said two great things: information system, and us. You basically described a parrot, which I hate that. Yo, when I'm running background,
no.
But listen, when I'm running background and I'm entering a room, I'm like, listen, think of me as a hot cuckoo clock.
Yeah.
Every 30 minutes or so, I'm gonna come out and say the same thing I just said 30 minutes ago. I'm gonna keep repeating information that I'm hearing, and that's what you'll have to deal
Exactly.
with. I think PAs, that's a good one. Information system.
My favorite is you ever like are working on a show where like the first AD does the here we go, and here we go. And they'll say, here we go.
Here we go. Here we go.
And they'll say it like 12 times. I'm like, which here we go is the actual
It's a double-edged sword. We want you to repeat everything, but also maybe not everything.
Maybe not everything. But that's my absolute favorite is when everything goes, here we go. 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 And then you hear like 12 PAs around going, here we go. Here we go. Here. And like less confident every time they have to say it again.
Yep. Because everybody's just staring at them.
My favorite
All the grips are just looking at them like, hey.
Oh, are we going?
Are we going?
Can I go through this lockup? I think that's important to know as like an additional PA is like when are you supposed to actually be locking it up? Because like sometimes
get into it.
Okay, sometimes like you have like usually holding usually some form of equipment and they're trying to go through lockup and the first here we go is not when you lock it up.
It's absolutely.
It's definitely not. Everybody knows that between the first here we go, there's a solid 10 minutes of here we go
before you get to a real rolling.
And then usually what they'll say is, all right, let's lock it up. That's usually what it is. It goes, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. All right, let's lock it up and rolling. Like that's the
amount of respect you lose from the crew when you're one of those PAs who would just be like, they said I cannot let you in. They said nope. They said They said here we go 7 times. I cannot let you in. Guys, common sense. Now I get why.
About it.
Now I get why they're talking shit about you.
Is that you? Are you getting locked up by PAs now? Are PAs locking you up? Or?
No, but I'm obviously I'm out of the lockup stage. But poor PAs, when I'm just looking, I'm like, first of all, you're locking up the director.
Yeah.
You're locking up an executive producer or
which
something.
I think is so funny sometimes.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Humble a little bit.
Yeah.
Humble them a little bit. Then be like...
It is kind of funny, but it's just like, read a fucking call sheet.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Let's not fucking go there.
I know.
Come on, because it just looks so bad on the whole team.
Oh, God. Or like, say, like, my least favorite thing is like when we're doing like rehearsals in the morning and the crew is pushing the equipment in from the trucks and the actors aren't even on set yet. And they go, let's lock it up. I'm like, why don't just let the crew finish?
Why not?
And then when you get the actors, you know what I mean? Like then we could be like, let's. And I understand
if you're listening, they'll be like, "Hey, talent's on set. Let's get ready to
exactly."
go."
But like, or my favorite, which is when they say to lock, like they close like the bay doors and stuff, and people are still pushed. Like someone's half in the door and they're trying to close it on them, and I'm like, just like it's gonna be all right. Just let them get in the door, and then you close it. Like you're like trying to like what is this? Like fucking Indiana Jones? Like you're like, oh, let's get the last card in. Get in there.
Where do you think that is? That like trauma? Like where does that come from? Where people are, as an additional, I think it comes from like
they don't want to yell that.
Yes, but that comes from the lack of information you get as an additional.
Exactly.
Even as a key PA, you're only given so much information, and you're in charge of like a whole team of additionals.
Yeah.
So imagine the lack of information you get as an additional. I put my friend Taylor on. He was on the first episode. His first job was on the Michael Che show with us, and yeah, like he didn't know anything, never been on the set, anything, and the key PA was just like, yeah, go stand on that door. When I tell you this man, and sorry about this, Taylor, again, I love you, but this man stood at the door just opening it and closing it for people, just like, I think I'm a doorman. I'm like, you're not.
Let me tell you, one of my weirdest lockups I ever had on Blacklist. They film at like a stage that is right by a bunch of boats. It's like on the water. I don't know what it is about the stage there, but like I don't know if it's from the boats or whatnot. But like the doors, like you can't like the big bay doors. They just have like a rope, and then like my job as a PA was to hold the rope and keep the big bay doors closed when we rolled because there was no way with a rope. I can't. I know, but literally, and like I'm talking about like bracing yourself.
She's standing up, ladies and gentlemen.
I need to show you. I need to demonstrate what it is. Okay, so this is the door, right? There's a rope. You wrap the rope around the handles, and then you pull the door closed.
Okay.
There's like some rule where you can't lock the bay doors because it's like in case there's a fire. But then if they leave, there's nobody there holding the rope.
So it's better to have a human just holding it open for 5 minutes. I don't understand.
Okay, this is the reason. Okay, they were like, okay, since we can't lock the door and since we can't leave them alone, we'll just have a PA with a rope.
I
almost feel bad for playing her, but I don't. I mean, I'm gonna use her.
Bro, and like it hurt. I had like rope burns on my hands from like holding this fucking door closed, because then when a breeze would come by, it would like try to whip the door open, these like 1,000-pound doors, and I'm like,
why does it sound like you're describing a Nick game, like a Nickelodeon game, like you're playing Legends of the Hidden Temple or something?
Bro, it's a thing. It was a thing. It was like the weirdest lockup I've been on, and it was just, and I'm pretty sure they still have to do it. Like, I can't imagine they've come up with a better solution.
I would hope the fuck so. You painted the picture, you stood up for me, I saw the whole thing, and I'm still baffled.
It does kind of make sense.
I guess
like
I had to be there. I guess I had to be there. That is a great segue into wow, okay. That's a great segue into what's your worst moment on set? Like a moment that you were just like, this is shit.
Oh God.
Like, this sucks. Feel free to keep things as anonymous as you like.
Keeping things as anonymous as I can. I took over a position for somebody. You'll know what I'm talking about. I took over a position for somebody who had to leave because they put their book in and then became an AD. So I took over doing background, and I had her, and this first AD, who I will not name, he refused to learn my name because he said that I wasn't bothering to stay, so he wasn't gonna learn my name, so he called me girl for 2 weeks.
Shut up, bitch! Shut the fuck up!
Yeah, he would just call, girl, where's the background, girl? Girl, are the background coming? And then he would also do this really super fun thing in which this first AD would hold their walkie down so you couldn't get a word in edgewise. And he would go, girl, where's the walkie? Girl, where's the background? Where's the background? Girl, where's the background? Where's the background? How far are we? Girl, I'm looking for you, girl. I'm looking over here, girl. I don't see you over here, girl. Left, girl, right.
Girl.
And meanwhile, I'm screaming, like bellowing in the streets. And you're like, I'm just like so fucking agitated about it. I was like about to kill. I was like, and that's, I mean, between that and like, I worked another job in which is mainly just sexism. Like, I mean, like, it's just like that. And then I also worked a job where the first AD said that my voice is at an octave he refused to hear.
Catch me outside, how about that?
Wow.
So he said I could.
Well, I'm trying not to laugh directly in your face right now, but it's so funny.
He said,
oh my God.
He said, Amber, your voice is at an octave I refuse to hear. And then they said that I couldn't be, because I was covering the second. So they said I couldn't be the second because I couldn't work with first AD because he wouldn't listen to me.
Wow.
And then he said, and then I quote, because then what happened is then we actually, when we came on, like a lot of girls came on the show because like people left and new people came on, and I was one of said girls, and the other girls, he said, there are too many girls on Channel 1 and I refuse to learn all of your names.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
What the fuck?
And like on Channel 1, I've never had more people come up and apologize to me for the way a first AD has been speaking to me than like on that job. Like they would literally be like, oh my God, Amber, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know how you're still standing here. And I'm like, you know what? You just gotta know, like, I will not work with this person again, and I will not, I won't take it personally because clearly, like, they got problems.
Did you ever work with them again?
Nope.
Like full circle career?
Never did. I
kind of like those full circle moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm dying to work with you again.
Oh my God.
Because it'll just be like, look at me now, bitch.
I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all. I got liposuction.
No, but wow, that does sexism sucks, bro.
Yeah.
I think my only experience of sexism so far that I'm smart enough to have it realized in the moment, I guess, was my first ever job. I got hired as a PA, and this was like before I did anything union. This was like some non-union shit for the state of New York. Very weird. But I got hired by this guy, and he was just like, wait, you're a woman? And I was like, yeah, I'm Alexis, I'm a woman. He was like, damn, like, I really thought I was hiring a guy. And he said that 5 other times, and I was just like, well, I'm here. I mean, I'm here.
You want
me to leave? And he was just like, I guess you can't just leave, so you want to get some waters? And then he proceeded to, like, patronize me the whole time.
Like, oh, great. That's great.
That's great. So, sexism.
I have another one. There was... I think that they're I'm not sure. I don't think it's thank God. I want to talk about clothing on set. That's what I want to talk about.
Oh, yes. Because we are voluptuous women.
We are, and
everybody.
people are fucking mad about it.
Is that bitch o'clock? Yeah, it's thick. 30
I don't know if I can curse, but people are big mad about like the fact that if you're a woman with a body, get out.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
When I first started as a PA, I worked on a lot of productions that told you, this was obviously years ago, they told us that ADs and PAs don't wear jeans. Don't wear shorts, I mean. You cannot wear shorts if you're an AD or PA. You were allowed to if you were a man to wear like cargo shorts, but women specifically were not allowed to wear shorts.
Safety?
Nope. Just because we are a distraction a set.
Wow.
I've had that told to me on multiple sets by multiple ADs, and like, you know, people being like, okay, like this is or like the key PA where like, you know, they text you before and they're like, hey guys, it's supposed to be hot tomorrow. Don't forget though, if you're a girl, you can't wear shorts. And you're like,
what? If you're a woman.
Hey, P.S. Yeah, don't have that booty out because it'll be a distraction. We have to shut the whole set down. Nobody wants that. It's you know, like whatever. Like
I'm laughing, but it's so sad.
It's been like that for a long time. Like there is still kind of like this thing where it's like if you're an AD, like if you're a hair and makeup or wardrobe, and I understand wearing clothes that you can work in, but like I think that if it's 120 degrees outside and I'm wearing shorts that aren't like I'm not talking about like ass cheeks out. Like we're talking like Bermuda shorts or like whatever.
Like something appropriate in your brain, but like comfortable enough where you don't die in the fucking
exactly.
heat.
They're like, no, you have to actually die of heat stroke. Actually, that was actually in your contract as a woman.
Did you not read that?
They say no tits, no clits, all covered up. Just fully, just get it. Like I don't want to see any of it. I want to know that
all for the low price of $15 an hour.
And if you're in Philadelphia, $7 an hour.
So or in Georgia, $12. So
there you go. Then you know, if you're a man, you can do whatever you want. Dicks out.
Well, it's crazy because I think I worked on some sets with women. Like, I think my first big job as a background PA was with a woman as the AD, the key second. Mm-hmm. She knows who she is. I love that bitch. But it was very much like we had a lot of women on the PA staff. We had a key second that was a woman. She was that bitch as well. Very pretty, like not, you know, a lot of these hoes be jealous because they don't put any work into how they look when they come to set, which is fine. We got really early mornings. But at the end of the day, some of us still just because we want to get our nails done and maybe put a little bit of eyeliner on, there should be no problem with that. So
step your pussy up, honey.
This particular woman, hi Storm. This particular woman, she was mad cool about it. She knew she had a lot of women and she really wanted to emphasize wear whatever the fuck you want and then let me know the minute a man says anything to you. Bring it to me ASAP. And it was great. And we wore shorts, ladies and gentlemen. We wore crop tops.
Yeah.
We wore whatever we liked.
I think that's like the issue is that like as like a woman, if you're considered like a distraction, that you're, even if you work twice as hard as everybody else, even if you work like, you know, if you're better at your job or whatever, they still are like I mean, I remember there was like a first AD who straight up called a PA a hooker. They were like, I didn't realize we hired hookers now because she was wearing like jean shorts.
It's like, shut the fuck up. I will fucking laser you with alien fucking eyes and explode your fucking head.
Like, and I was like, what the fuck? And I remember being like, I was like, this is on Channel 1. Like, she's there. Like, that's fucking, first of all, embarrassing. Like that's just, I remember being like, that's a lot. Like that was, and it just, and it just kind of, the only thing you could do is that if you end up becoming an AD is trying to make it so that way people don't feel that way on your own sets. You know what I mean?
That's true. You
like
gotta
your
cultivate.
work ethic should be number one versus whatever the fuck you put on your body. Like,
because ultimately it don't really matter. Like I would want people to be as comfortable as possible. We are spending like almost 20 hours.
If you want to be cute, be cute. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why should you feel like shit because you I mean, like, I sometimes you get like low key kind of like sad when you're like, oh man, I'm so glad I have to wear fucking jeans and a sweatshirt again. And
your weekends are barely nothing, so it's not even like you're getting to wear your dress up clothes on the weekends.
It's COVID too. It's like the only time that you really get to, and sometimes you just want to feel cute just for yourself. Like it doesn't have to be for anybody else. Like, I mean, you and I, we both get our like nails done, and that's kind of like a thing where you're just like, I just want to be.
Yeah, imagine if they were like no nails.
I would no. I mean, like that. No.
You're like absolutely. I draw the line there. I'll find a new industry.
I will literally quit my job. If I went to set and somebody said, "Oh, Amber, sorry, you have to go home because of your nails," I would just be like,
middle finger. Okay.
Right, this is a podcast.
No, we be cursing. The last episode was pretty profanity heavy, so fuck that shit. Yeah. Fuck all those ADs who have a problem with how I dress. I put my titties out. I'm wearing pasties on Monday, okay, ho? Anyways, let's move on. Shall we? So, Amber,
Yes.
what's the wildest request you've ever gotten? Oh, this could be as an AD or as a PA, whatever.
One of the wildest requests was I was working on a show that I don't remember. It was like back when I was still doing like little things, you know, and
Little things.
and there was I forget who he was. He played for the Brooklyn Nets, and they were like interviewing him for this thing. Again, I fucking can't remember what it was.
It's kind of for the better.
Oh, yeah, but anyway, I was interviewing this guy for Brooklyn Nets, and they didn't want his hands to get dirty, so I hand-fed a man a slice of pizza.
Get in my belly!
I had a paper plate and a slice of pizza, and I was just like inching it towards his mouth, and then like
Get away
pushing,
from me.
and then pushing the crust like with my finger, like so it goes more into his mouth, and that was my job. I just carried around a slice of pizza,
And he was comfortable with that.
and
100%.
he was. I mean, like, listen, it was fine. I mean, like,
He heard all of the
and then
negotiations
he
about his hands not getting dirty. Who was in the room when this was decided? Did they just give you the task, or were you there? And everybody
I was already there, and you know what it was? I was like one of those days where I was like, there was no like set PA positions, because again, I think it was like an interview for something on like, because I did a lot of Comedy Central stuff, so it was like some Comedy Central thing, and they were interviewing this guy, and they just, you know, I just like pushed. Oh, or that was story. Or when I was working on another show. That was like this like game show, like street game show type thing, where like they had like little things that they made, and they made a whack-a-mole machine, but like they didn't make it work, so I had to crawl underneath the machine, and I was operating the moles from the whack-a-mole.
For what? Why a human that's not making any money?
Because it was like, because they didn't have like art PAs or anything, and again, this is like one of those like, you know, it was like broke ass game show, like whatever, and like literally it was like, and then they were like, okay, so we have this whack-a-mole machine. They're like, oh great, how does it work? We're like, well, we put somebody under there, and then they looked around at all the PAs, and they picked that 6 foot tall girl.
Yeah, let's crunch her up and put her in a box.
And the best part is that the actor that was supposed to be like doing the bit with the whack-a-mole, he was like, oh, it's crazy, how does this work? And then he like went like this, and he saw me under there. I remember calling my mom and being like, Mom, like,
I made it.
This actor, he was the guy from The Daily Show, not Trevor Noah, the other one, the one that's
Jon Stewart?
Jon Stewart was operating this whack-a-mole thing, and it was me under here going like this, and he was like, this is amazing, how does this work? And he like went like this, and it's just me.
Did he say nothing? He was just like,
I went like this.
Why are you curled up on my couch? This is ridiculous.
He's like this, and then he was like, oh, hello, and I'm like, hey, I'm like, are you enjoying the game?
What? So he did it. He acknowledged that you were there, a person under the table. I somehow would have thought it would have been better if he just didn't acknowledge you.
He was very nice. But yeah, those are.
Wow, I think that's why I invited you on the show. That was just two slam dunks.
Listen, back in the day,
and that was the worst.
Listen.
That was like the wildest. No, wildest.
The wildest.
Yeah.
I think those two are pretty wild. I mean, like. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. I mean, like, I've had stupid stuff happen with...
Girl, it doesn't get any wilder than you curling yourself up in a ball.
I've disappointed Alexis. I've disappointed her.
She's impressed me. What was that first one? I'm sorry, we don't need to keep harping on this.
About the pizza. The pizza.
How fucking weird.
Listen, he was a very handsome man. I was like, this is fine. I was like, you know what, I'll do it again.
I'm feeling some things. Is he feeling me? Is he
interested
in me?
I was like, and this, I was like, you know, like, I think I was like 18 years old. I was like this like little baby, and I was just like, oh hey, you just want to open up that mouth.
Please stop.
I'm gonna fuck you.
Anyways, so as being an AD now that
Yes.
you're in the guild, is it better than being a PA? Like, honestly speaking.
Yeah, I mean, like, I like being an AD. I think that I definitely like the jumping around more than I like the actually being stabbed on anything.
Yeah.
Just because I like having
better.
a life, and I think, like, I mean, everybody's kind of changed their perspective about stuff since COVID.
Yeah.
Like before COVID, like you can ask fucking, even you know, like I would go, like I would wrap a job. I mean, the craziest one I did was like I wrapped a job, and I was wrapped at like midnight, and at like I had a 5 a.m. call for my next 10-month job to start, and so like I literally went home, showered, changed, slept for an hour, and then I went to the next.
That's insanity.
And it's like I would always line myself up like that, where it's like I'd get off a 10-month job, I'd wrap, I'd work a 5-month job, I'd work a 6-month job, I'd work 10-month job, and I would just keep rolling it over and over and over
How
again.
are you still standing?
I used to think about death all the time. I'd wake up dead. I go to lunch, dead. I go to sleep at night, wonder if I'm gonna die. Dead, gonna die.
And it would just, you don't really think about it. You kind of, the time flies by, and then all of a sudden you're just kind of like, wow, I can't believe it. And then you're like looking at people, and you're looking at the people, the weird experience you'll have is you'll look at the people around you, and you'll be like, holy shit, they're an AD now? Like, that's it. Like, now I'm at the point where, like, because I'm still kind of like bopping around, where like, I'm looking at people, and they're like key seconds. They're getting first AD rates. And you're like, how the fuck?
No, yeah.
I'm like, should I be doing that? Like, and I'm like, do I want to be doing that? Like, that's kind of like where...
It's a constant crossroads, right? It's not just for people like me. Everybody's just constantly trying to figure out where they fit in and is most comfortable.
Especially
because you're in it to win it once you're in it.
And especially because, like, for our department, like, we're versus like every other union, basically, where like you are campaigning for yourself at every single turn. Yeah. That's the biggest problem. One, not the biggest, but one of the bigger problems of being the AD department is you give these people all this fucking money. You give these people, and right now it's at $8,000. You pay these people $8,000 for an initiation fee, and then you pay a percentage of what you make quarterly, and they don't get you a job.
Anything.
They don't get you a job. They don't do any of that. Like, I mean, you get the health insurance, but that's still you. Like, you are still doing that. Like, you are getting yourself hired. You are keeping your name out there. You are the one who's like booking stuff. And then it's like, what are they doing? What are you doing for me?
Where's my money, bitch?
Exactly.
That and then all they do is kind of like, and then you can't work the indie stuff anymore. So it's like, and then now you're like also taking, like, I can't work everything I want to work. Like, I'm doing this thing because y'all say I have to do it, and then also I can't work things that I'm
I think it's kind of, that's what turns me off from the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like them not helping you really turns me off. I'm like, so it's a hustle until the day you die, pretty much.
Exactly.
Like, that's it.
You never get to stop.
There is no comfort.
And if you can't, and it's hard to even like take time off, because then you're kind of like, what if I leave for 6 months and then they forget about me?
Yeah.
And then now I'm trying to get, you know what I mean? Like, that's the problem. It's like, and I don't think
just go back to being a PA after ADing for a number of years.
You can't.
It's like impossible. I feel.
Can't. And then also like and the other problem is that once you put your book in, you kind of can't go back. Like, you can, but then once people hear that you put your book in, but you're still accepting PA days, they'll never try to hire you as an AD. They'll try to get you as a PA. They'll try to get you on the cheap because they're gonna get an AD for PA money. That's where I had to like be like, listen, like, because I saw a lot of people do it where they put their book in, they pay all that fucking money, and then you have people like, do me one last favor, like, do this for me.
Yeah,
and then it's like that
a lot.
kind of thing, and then you're like, well, but then and then you're like, okay, no, I'm only taking AD days. Then who's still there after that? Oh shit, sorry. Who's still there after that? That's kind of like, that's how you know, like, the difference between those people that go, oh, we're family, versus the people who are like actually going to try to help you better your career. You know?
To your point.
Because I feel like every AD team is always like, we're a family here. Like, we're a big family. How many times have you fucking heard that?
No, yeah,
We're
a lot.
family,
Especially in the times where I'm not. Now that I'm in health and safety. Bro, like, I see it more than ever, these people trying to, like, saying and doing things to me to make it seem like we're really, really tight, when really you know that I would just benefit you the most being a part of your team rather than you giving a fuck where I'm at or what I'm doing or where I'm trying to work towards.
Exactly.
Very fucked. I don't know. It's a little bit of manipulation tactics, especially when you think about the fact that everybody's just, it's all word of mouth. So how real is everybody being with everybody?
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for, like, green PAs? I feel like
green PAs?
What I had briefly touched on earlier was like being an additional fresh eye. You can walk onto a set and have no idea about anything, and no one gives you any information, yet people are very comfortable just throwing you out into the ocean.
Oh yeah.
So do you have, as the most experienced ex-PA I know, what's up? Tell a greenies something.
I think the best thing, I think if you're a green PA and you really want to be hired, I think the thing you need to do is you need to just kind of always be like looking, essentially. Like, never, I think that it's kind of like a blood in the water kind of like shark thing. Like, make sure you're kind of like always like keeping an eye on what's going on, what other people are doing. Yeah. Not like other people in your department, but you know what I mean? Like, if you see the director walk by, you go to the bathroom. Like, keep that in your heads. That way, like, if they ask for the director, you go, he's it. You know what I mean? Like, kind of just know who the important people are. And if you don't know, feel free to ask like usually your key PA, or like ask like an AD if you're like, hey, I just want to make sure I know who these key people are, which is like your director, your DP, camera operators, like you know what I mean, like key grip gaffer. Like, if you can know what those faces look like, that will help you like exponentially.
No, that's a great advice.
Yes, I did that, and you would do it too for a check. I was an employee, and I was gonna get employee of the month, and that's on period. That was just that's what it needed to be, and that's what it was gonna be.
But yeah.
Communication.
Yes.
The best thing for a green PA is to communicate, because even though you think some people might not want to talk to you, people are obsessed with themselves.
Yeah.
And they all want to talk about what they do and how they do it and how it's better than what other people do. And that could get you the next job, is just by listening.
Exactly.
So, small talk, but not too much small talk. Communication, but not too much communication.
Basically,
being observant, but not.
just do good. I don't know.
Be better,
Be
bitch.
better. Like, do good, be better. I'm kidding. Please don't. Cut that.
Anyways, okay, so we're almost done with the purple question section, which was my messy question section.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it.
I'm also having a good time.
Yeah, so I think you described the key second and the second and the first AD, but can you give us a blatant title? What is an assistant director?
Just like a
different, like, what is it generally? Sometimes I don't even know.
Sometimes I also don't even know. I think that I guess the way of looking at it, which is this is very generalization of it, is that you're kind of the bridge between the director and the rest of the crew. You are there to make the director's vision happen. You're the crew or the show producer or whatever your thing is. You're there to make sure that their vision of what this movie/show should be happens the way that it should happen in a good amount of time. Does that make sense? Is that
No, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Because you think about it like that. I mean, like, you're one of the people that do that. But like, the whole thing with the AD department is that you're supposed to take a piece of work and you're supposed to like make sure that the vision that the directors and like the DP have, that you're helping with that.
Okay, so an AD is pretty much just like the bridge between the creative and the above the line and below the line. I hate to put it like that, but yeah.
Yeah, because you're there with the crew and you're supposed to be you're on the ground. Like, so when the producer calls you and goes like, why did XYZ happen? Like, you were there, like this, these are things that happened. Like,
okay.
Because sometimes I think that office people, which maybe you'll interview, did you ever do an office PA?
I'm gonna get one.
Because like I think that the big difference is like,
it's another great position.
Because when you work in the office versus working on set, like, well, first of all, you can always kind of like tell if someone was an office person or if somebody was like a set person. And I think that when you're a producer, you can also see that. Like, if I've worked with line producers where I'm like, oh, baby, you've never been to set. Like, you've like that's like, I don't think you've ever even touched a set before. Like, it's just, and you're like, and I was like, because like it's the questions that people ask. Like, it's just things like, why was the back-in time at, an hour instead of it being, usually it's 45 minutes. Why was it an hour this time? And it's like stuff like that. And you're like,
logistically, we're a block away, 10 blocks away.
Exactly. That's like, the last time it was, people, catering was here. And then today catering was here. So they had to take a van, or it was raining, or it was like any of these things. But it's just like, it's like those kinds of questions. You're like, oh, you don't really know what people do.
You don't know anything. You're getting paid a lot, though.
Get paid a lot, but like,
Shut up, bitch.
I wish we lived in a world and in a department where you could just tell people when they're being toxic or tell people when they're being, but you can't. We don't live in that world. That world doesn't exist.
And a good reason for that, which I didn't really realize, I guess, until this exact moment, is just, wow, it's because we're networking to the very, very end. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, the industry will forever be tight-lipped, because no matter what, we don't get to have like that's why the Grips can fight each other and then still be fine, is because they have a union hall that will hold it down.
Or like the Teamster who had like a prostitute in his cab and then ran, and then they got into a car accident, and then a tree branch fell on a makeup person, and the prostitute ran down into the subway, and that guy's still working, bro. He never even left the job. Like,
wait,
that's what I'm
first of all, it's you saying that story like any of us know what the fuck.
Bro, you know what I'm talking about, though, right? You heard, everybody heard that. That was like the story that went around the world. Everybody heard that story. It
feels like every set that I'm on is not as cool as the things that are happening to other people.
I'm just saying, pre-COVID, pre the Me Too movement,
shit was getting crazy.
Real. You used to do whatever. Pre-Me Too, you used to be able to do whatever the fuck you wanted. Like, that was the.
That's true.
I mean, not for women, but if you were a man, you could do whatever you wanted.
I like the view.
You do?
Yes.
You're my best view.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and then some of these fucking guys, like macho men who are used to being mostly ADs, they tend to try to give you patronize you or give you this look like, well, we're all playing as a team. Yeah, I know what the fuck a team is. Yeah. But I also know that we all have different positions, and I'm trying to play mine right now. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? You want to sink my job so that you look good?
Fuck my drag, right?
They're trying to sandbag you so that way next time they know. And then, of course, or like my other gripe with like the AD department is that like I'm glad that they're kind of changing is the two walkie thing. I need to have a sidearm. I have to have it.
Yeah, I do need a sidearm.
I have to have it. Well, one,
for
because
multiple reasons.
Oh yeah, one, because I talk very fast, and I feel like when I started using a sidearm. Well, in case people know what a sidearm is, you have one walkie that's on channel 1, which is all like the the ADs and like set dressing and like all, like people are on wardrobe. That's like where like the first AD is talking is on channel 1, right? And so you have that one that's connected to your surveillance, which is like your little spy earpiece that's in your ear. And then a sidearm is a second walkie that you have where like in case someone calls you to another channel, if you change the one that's connected to your ear, then if someone's calling you on channel 1, you can't hear it because you're no longer on that channel. You're no longer on that frequency. So, when an AD, so if you're like a first team PA, if you're like a background PA, and like props ask you to go to their channel, go to channel 4. So you're on 4 and you're talking to props about
you're missing everything on 1.
You're missing every single thing on 1. So if you're over here talking to props, you're like, okay, we're bringing the background. Where do you, are we still propping them up over by your truck? Yada yada yada. And then meanwhile, the first AD is screaming for you on channel 1. You have no idea because you're on a different channel. I hated that. I hated feeling stupid. Like you don't have. There's never, and also because like not to be whatever. But sometimes you got like people in your own department who don't have your back, and then if like but when it was me and you, like you'd be able to be like, hey, someone's
chill the fuck out, she's going on another channel.
Or you'll be like, hey, they just called you on 1, like this is what they said, like say copy, and I go, oh, copy that, and then you just what I mean. But if you don't have somebody like that, then you're missing everything, and then they just think that you're dumb. Like they don't want to hear your reason for why you weren't.
They'll just send you the worst thing when you fucked up is where another AD or your second or somebody comes rushing in the room to like do a thing.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that happen to you? Where it's like you maybe didn't hear something, whatever. No one even told you that you didn't hear something. All you see is your AD or something running into the room to do the thing that you could have done, but I guess everybody thinks you're a fucking idiot, so they're just like, let me send a man to do the job.
Or the just say copy thing. Like they don't want to hear the reason. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I was on channel. Just say copy. I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm saying copy to 1, and I'm like 2.
That's true. I
think that's just
in a way I kind of get it. And when you see green PAs do it, you're like, bro, just keep it down to 1 sentence. Like no matter what, you're wrong. It's like talking to your mom or trying to debate your mom. You're never gonna be right. Just copy and move on.
And it's not necessarily like the best advice, but it's definitely like sometimes because like, they don't want to hear your reason. Maybe you say copy now, and then maybe like when you rap, you can like kind of explain. Like if it's like whatever situation. Like sometimes I've had that happen where like I'll just say copy because obviously no one wants to hear what the reasoning is for this thing. You basically just go copy that. I'm gonna fix it, and then you just fix whatever the thing is. And then sometimes at rap they'll go like, what happened? And then you go, this is what happened. And they go, oh, okay. That's like that's what it is.
Or sometimes they won't, and you'll just have to leave it at that, bro.
And then they just think that you're dumb. Then they just think that you're not good at your job.
And you'll just have to take it. Listen, not everybody's gonna be, when you're not available, when people need you to be available, no matter what, that's just gonna make them think of you some type of way. I've done it to people, like as a background runner, and like had helpers who have just like, why aren't you answering my phone calls? I need you right now. And it's just like, well, I was doing this thing that you told me before.
Listen, you can say it was my fault. You can, because I used to do that too all the time. I'd be like, if I am calling you on the phone, you're picking it up.
And I do it now. Listen, trauma, everybody. I now do it to other PAs, and I'm so sorry. But I remember because pick up the fucking phone when I need
Alexis
you.
was in holding, like hanging out, watching Glee or whatever the fuck she did in there, and then I'd be like, I would be calling her on the phone because my thing is I don't want to blow up anybody's spot on 1, so I'd call you once on 1. If you didn't answer, then I'd call you on the phone. Because I'm not trying to be like Alex.
Because everybody goes to 2. There's no privacy to bitch anybody.
Of course, and I don't want to say it more than once because then that makes you look bad on channel 1. So I'm like, I'm gonna call her on the phone and be like, hello? And then if you don't pick up, I'm like, and then I'm running and holding.
Well, like, why aren't you answering my call though? Like, what's wrong?
I'm like, what the fuck is wrong
dumb?
with you? Are you dumb?
I've done it. Listen, not a good feeling. But anyways, thanks for that. That was really informative. Exactly. Do you have anything to say about actors?
I was a first team PA on a show, right? And there was somebody who was a specific actor PA who had to deal with a lot of crazy shit. Which theretofore I was also helping with crazy shit because of like always like the insane requests that this actor would make.
Okay.
And this was at a stage where there was a bit of a rat/mouse problem, and this actor was 100% convinced that peppermint oil would get rid of mice and rats. So all around his room, he would have these little pouches of like peppermint oil pouches, like all over the room. And so what he would do is he would change the knots on them every day, so that way he would know if the first team PA replaced them every day or not.
Wait, what?
So he would have like 20 pouches like circling his whole room, right? Of these like little peppermint oil things. And then what he would do is he would like quadruple knot them or whatever, and like change like the way he knotted them or change the way he like tied them, so that way he would know. And then the PA's job was to, in the morning before he got there, was to untie them, not replace the pouches themselves, like untie these little knots and then put more peppermint oil in there and then re-tie them up. And he would check every day.
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.
And he would like, and then he'd be like, my things weren't freshened up today. And again, it was one of those type of bags where you couldn't just like fucking shake. I was suggesting shake the oil on the actual pouch itself, but then he would notice that the knots weren't undone. So it was like, it was like those kind of things where I'm like, what?
They don't give a fuck about us. Like, these high-end actors, like, sometimes they'll buy us a food truck once a week.
Bro, listen, I don't know. As a first team PA, I've gotten some great fucking actor gifts as like
really?
an end. Yeah.
I've had some, like, I only did real serious first team recently in Georgia, and I loved it. Like, I see how you really get close.
Well, you heard what Katya and Mike got me as a rap gift, right?
What?
They got me and Kevin an Oculus.
Look at
an Oculus, like the VR headset. They got me and Kevin an Oculus, and we booked something like getting like the full VR headset, like as a rap gift.
Wow, that's so sweet.
Right?
That's really nice. Wow.
I worked with somebody who the actors got all of them Apple Watches.
What?
I've gotten like over $1,000. Like I've got like between like the actors and stuff. Like I got like almost like $1,000 from
the most I ever got was this fucking. I'm not gonna say anything mean about it, because shout out to Brandon Michael Hall. He made me a candle, so that was my only nice thing. But yeah, perks, working with actors could be cool, but could be not. Have you ever, since you're a fine ass bitch, you have to see her, but very hot. You ever had an actor like try to make his move?
100%.
Was you with it? Was you with it?
No, only because I didn't want to be known as the PA that was banging actors. You know what I mean?
Do you know PAs who have?
100%. Well, we both know the one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. You know, that was my one thing. But shout out to that bitch. We love you, girl.
Oh my God.
Talk about something that you know is gonna be like you can predict the end. That's why you don't do it.
Exactly. That's why I was kind of like that. Anytime like, and also like that was a big thing when I first started as PA. Was that like, I mean, and it's still now, like, the people who, like, are always, like, asking actors for photos and stuff, like, my mom is always, like, so fucking mad at me, because she's like, I don't have anything to show for the fact that you work on a set, like, you don't take pictures with actors, and you can't, you don't want to be known as the PA or the AD that, like, I don't know.
I've only done it one time to date in my career, and it was because I met my literal fucking idol.
Yes.
What would you do?
Or like, I mean, like, or like if it's like a rap party or something, like, I feel like that's kind of a different vibe, but like, to just... To like then like if you're like, you know, just like, oh, I want your picture, because then it's just like, I don't know, I feel like that kind of, they're at work and you're at work, so I think that's the only time that it's a little bit weird. I've had to, there's been a couple times where I've had to like hold myself back, because I'm like,
love you.
I just had one, and then she ended up being such a nice person, and I was like, thank God. I was like, thank the Lord. Carrie Mulligan, who I love, she was in Pride and Prejudice.
Okay,
I love that movie.
Bitch.
And I just worked with her on Maestro, and she was just like the most unbelievably chill person I've ever met in my entire life. Like, and I'm talking about like chill to the point where like, and you could tell it wasn't like an act being chill. Like she was, they're like, I don't want to be known as being an asshole, so I'm gonna be overly nice. And then she was just like very like, well, okay.
Flase da.
You're so flase da, Pearl.
Exactly, and like, and I mean, like having a conversation with you, like it doesn't even have to be like, you know, like whatever, just like, hey, how you doing, like whatever, like very like easygoing, like, hey, I'm sorry, like we're a little behind on set, like it's gonna be like another, because I was a base camp AD on that, so it was like trying to be like whatever, and she was just nice across the board, every person.
Sometimes I always say don't meet your idols, but meet your
sometimes.
idols.
Sometimes.
Okay, but nothing crazy or inappropriate, right? Because I can see you like having some guys.
No. It's there's been a couple that were crazy and inappropriate, that are still crazy and inappropriate, that are just like in my DMs. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
I think you should try it. You're at the age. You're a woman of a certain age where you're taken, but hey, worth it. Okay, guys. Now finally, we are going to take a break. I know it's been a while. But stick around, we're gonna be moving on to a new segment. Thank the Lord. We're back. Welcome welcome back to the Martini's Up podcast. Thank you for sticking around this long. I'm here with Amber. We're on to my favorite segment of the show, and that is PA of the Week. Woo! Also known as POW.
Pow, right in the kitchen.
Each episode here on the Martini's Up podcast, we give out an award, a fictional award, but real in our hearts, to a production assistant of the week. Somebody who did something above and beyond, or cringeworthy, but they still did it, or just like, wow, you can't believe they did it. Just something along those lines, and you can take it from a PA that you know, real life stories, or even like a movie that you've watched, a show, or like last episode I did the Oscars, like whoever had to,
the Will Smith slap. Yeah.
Whoever had to like escort Chris Rock off the stage or whatever, like whatever that assistant does. So now that you know, Amber, you're on the spot. Let us know who your PA of the week is.
I mean, if I want to get like sentimental about it, I mean, like my favorite PA of the week is wait, what are we?
Yeah, you're an AD now, so you really probably do have an actual PA of the week. Are you gonna give this to a person?
I would love to give PA of week to all of the DC PAs that we had in DC. Like they were like honestly like such a good group of people who really wanted to who believed in this project and really wanted it to go. Locked up the fucking Lincoln Memorial.
Wow.
Of all these people, locked up the Lincoln fucking Memorial for 5 days.
Wow.
5 days of being able to of nicely and courteously being able to be like, hey, I know you've come here to see this from Ohio to see this fucking national monument. Can you hold on a minute?
Can you just give us a second?
Just give us a little minute. You can watch from here, like blah blah blah, and being able to maneuver that was just I was like, y'all can come to New York and try to lock up Times Square with me. That's
right. That's pretty cool. Shout out to those guys.
They're so good.
PA of the week goes to the DC PAs.
For Rustin, it's a movie that's gonna come out on Netflix.
Okay, I love that.
Pow, right in the kitchen.
I actually have a real bias towards PAs that are not from New York.
No, New York PAs are very experienced, but sometimes they're not very nice. And then the people down south are not that experienced, but they're so nice.
Yeah, they're very
so
sweet.
nice.
Yeah, it's lack of experience, but nice people to work with overall.
Yes.
Here is you might be working with some assholes, but the shit is moving. Things are going on, and that's pretty cool. I'm so itching to go back out in the country and work with some non-New Yorkers.
Yeah,
it's a slower environment. I like not dealing with the city. The best times on set, on location for me, are when you don't have to deal with pedestrians because fuck them.
Yeah, and especially in New York where you have 100 productions going on at the same time, every goddamn block they're going on, they're getting locked up. And then they're no, people can't go down the street. So it's just...
They're not used to it here either. And it's not... So California, they're used to it. So it's just kind of whatever. New York, they're not used to it. So it's not whatever. They kind of hate it, no matter how prevalent it is. Smaller places like a DC or Georgia are not really used to it, but they're excited by it. So that's the difference.
Oh my God. Locking people up in DC was basically because I was initially ID, but I remember my roots. So I make sure that I'm locking it up with everybody else. If I have nowhere else to be, I'm helping lock up. But that's down there, people were coming out of their houses just because I'm oh hey, you can't come this way, and that's totally fine. I just wanted to watch, and you're okay, you can watch from right here. That's you have to put on your customer service voice. I'm oh my God, hi, thank you so much for coming. Please, could you watch over here on this side?
What a spectacle, right? Stand over here.
Oh my God, you see, if you were in 1960s clothing, you could have easily walked through this shot, and shit like that. You gotta, and then by the time you're done talking, they don't even realize they've been waiting, and then then we cut.
I'm not good at lockups, dude. It's not a fun time to me because I'm usually just stay on my motherfucking business. Where were you going before you stopped and you saw? And you see nothing. These people are all wrapped up over something they don't even see. You see a bunch of fucking white screens and lights, and you're losing your shit. About to get hit by a car trying to record light.
Mind your damn motherfucking business, bitch.
Oh my God. How about when you block out, where you take the blackout curtains on the entire place, and then they still try to go in? I've done one where it was we were filming at a grocery store, and they fully blacked out. They have meaning they took wood paneling and black cloths to make it look like it's nighttime inside when they're looking out, right?
Yeah.
So they have this whole thing, and from the outside, you're looking at it, you're clearly something is happening here.
Yeah.
But people will still just walk in. So you always have to have a PA on the door, even though it's so obvious that clearly you're not a good spot. You still have to put a PA on the door because then you got people wandering in and be is the grocery store open?
What the fuck do you think?
What do you think, bitch? Come on. What are you doing?
You. Are you dumb?
Like, oh, I'm sorry. They're like knocking down fucking signs, cones, and shit. They're like, can I park here? I'm like, you're out of your mind. Move on. My favorite was I was locking up. We were doing a car chase scene in the Bronx. And like fully like the car was gonna go up on the sidewalk a little bit. So it was like serious lockup. I had like 2 cops with a full cop car like blocking the whole road. And we were there and it was like semi-residential, like whatever. And they weren't going very fast, but they were still popping up on the sidewalk. So they were taking it very seriously. And I had this old fucking lady and she had her tiny little Yorkie and she was like, what's happening over here? What's happening? Very clearly a Karen.
She pale like a zombie. You know they eat the hottest people first. Let me back my tasty ass up.
What's happening over here?
What's happening?
And I'm like, oh, we're filming this TV show. We're doing this car stunt. If you wouldn't mind, like hanging out here, like, and then once the car goes by, we're gonna release and you can come by, like, you know, trying to be very whatever. And she was like, this is the way my dog and I walk. And I'm like, that's great. You can't. Do you want your dog to die? Like, I don't really understand. Like, I'm like, you can't come through this way again. We're doing a stunt with a car. The car is gonna come up on the sidewalk, like whatever. And she was like, I'm gonna let my dog decide if I go through this way or not. And I was like, oh. And then literally, meanwhile, I got the cop next to me and I'm like, let her get hit. Let her get hit. You tried your best, kid. You tried your best. Ma'am, you can't go this way. But again, if you do go, it's not on me.
Let her get hit.
Let her get hit. And I was
the
like,
NYPD.
It was like, let her get hit. And I'm like, and then by the time we had this very awkward exchange, we had called cut. So I was able to get through. But then I was like, man, they just called cut. So he goes away. And she was like, that's what I thought. And I'm like, oh my God.
No, because these people would rather waste time talking to you for 5 minutes than just going around.
Or my favorite, these trucks have been going on for a long time. I'm like, yeah. They're like, you understand what they're doing to the environment? I'm like, I don't care.
Why am I the person who you think
I'm like,
is in
locations,
charge?
can you go to 2? Yeah, I got a complaint on the street that the trucks are ruining the ecosystem. Or I've worked on a job where we were always at like this one neighborhood and then we were using this house. Like the exterior of the house was like the hero house. And the next door neighbor was getting so goddamn sick of seeing us every single fucking week that they started blasting music and playing strobe lights out their window to get
Great way to get a check.
Fantastic way to get a check. If you're ever near a film production, just start blowing shit out your window. They can't stop you.
Go cut your grass that day.
Yeah, I do. And they'll just give you a little, be like, I'll do it for $100.
For $100.
I mean, do a little bit more. I'll do that for $500.
Yeah, so
how much is your rent? I mean, listen, the general public as a whole is just very funny to watch.
Very funny.
I had my, like, one of my favorite set stories is we were filming on, I forget what show it was, but we were filming for the show, and it was another nighttime thing, but it was raining, so like it wasn't actually raining. So we had a water truck.
Yeah,
and like the rain shower. So if you don't know what a water truck is, sometimes in shows when it's not actually raining in real life. Remember on Photograph when it did start raining after we bought those rain towers?
Yeah, but anyway, that's crazy.
So and in these occasions, it's this occasion it was not raining and they wanted to look like it was raining. So they take a water truck and they fully and basically water just comes out of all sides of this thing like a fucking transformer.
They set up these giant towers.
And then they set up these giant towers that make it look like it's raining. But like at first a water truck goes by to wet like the sidewalk and the street and the businesses and make things look like they're dripping and yada yada. The water truck was going by and special effects is usually with the water truck. There was one gentleman holdout who was sitting on the sidewalk in a chair, and he had one piece of paper in his hand. And I don't know the full story, but in my mind, this was a paycheck that he desperately needed, okay? So he was yelling at the special effects guys because they were like, hey, sir, like, well, you know, special effects, like, yo, you gotta get out of the street, we're gonna wet it down. And so then I was a PA, and so I ran over and I was like, hi, sir, I'm so sorry, like, we're gonna wet the street down, it's gonna be, you know, up to this high. I'm like, so you're gonna get hit. So if you wouldn't mind just going inside for a second, or like if you come to the end of the block, like, you'll be okay. And he was like, I'm not moving, this is my house. And we went, okay. And the locations came over and tried to talk to him, and he refused to move. And so they were just kind of like, we gave enough. So especially like kind of like, we gave enough of a warning. They start going down the street with this water truck, right? So, and I'm talking about like, I'm 6 feet tall, and we're talking about water like over my head, all the way down, like fully over. So he's sitting, at this point he's standing, because he's like has still hands on his hips, and he's standing, and the water truck just goes down and just eviscerates this man with a wall of water like a fucking tsunami. Completely, he was a short guy, so it was completely over. The piece of paper in his hand disintegrated, fell to the ground, and this man just goes, God fucking damn it! And he's like losing his shit. Locations is running over. It was hilarious.
from the DC PAs being kick-ass PAs to general population just ruining our jobs with interactions.
Yep.
That was PA of the week.
Pow, right in the kitchen.
Thank you.
Stick around. We will be right back. Welcome back to the Martini's Up podcast. We're still chatting here. I'm here with Amber M. She's talking shit.
I'm always talking shit.
Yeah, I know you're entertained. Welcome to episode 3 in my brand new segment called Let's 86 That.
Ooh.
Basically a segment where we talk about things that should stop in the film industry for real, either because it's dumb or it's just plain fucked up. I didn't have any examples when I wrote the script, but hopefully Amber can inspire me to come up with something good. But what do you want to 86?
I think I want to 86
Wait.
Oh, God.
What is 86?
Oh, 86 is when you're saying, like, cancel that. Like, don't do that. Like done. It's done. I would like to 86 getting phone calls and stuff on the weekends about stuff that's going to happen on Monday. When I was a PA,
As a PA, fuck that.
I think that, like, I don't think that there should be any reason why a key PA should be calling me 7 times about something that's going to happen on Monday on my weekend. Let's 86 that.
Stop it. Get some help.
Let's 86.
All weekend communication.
80s get paid for that kind of stuff. Like 80s get paid for, like, you know, being able to answer your phone calls and answer your emails. But if you're a PA, like, other than just saying, like, I'm available or I know I copy the thing, like, but like to talk about, like, all that kind of stuff, like, that's a lot. Like, you can talk to me when I'm in at 4:00 in the morning on Monday. Like, you don't need to call me. You don't need to call me 5 times. 5 times? Too much. I've had that happen so many times.
Okay.
Or 8. We can also do, like, let's 86. We already talked about it. Like, you know, clothing and what people judging.
That doesn't happen as much anymore, does it?
I mean, I still see it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Let's 86 people talking about what you can and can't wear to work.
Yeah.
As long as I'm doing my motherfucking job, you shouldn't be concerned what is distracting to you, sir.
Mr. Popo, you may leave the lookout if you wish.
Don't tell me what to do!
How is that my problem? Like, what? Most of the time you're, like, at least a little bit older than me. Why should you be concerned about what I'm wearing? So, thank you. Let's 86 any clothing requirements because you should trust me as an adult woman to wear what I'm most comfortable in for 14 hours a day. And I should trust you as an adult man or woman, I guess, about, you know, keeping your fucking dick in your pants.
Yeah.
Oh, my titties!
Yeah, let's 86 that.
Stop it. Get some help.
I have one more 86.
Oh, yeah, right. My bitch got hot takes today. Let's go.
Let's 86. PAs not being allowed to sit down.
Oh my God, yeah, we did speak about that. Yeah.
I think that the idea is that here my general rule for sitting down is don't be sitting down and on your phone. You can be sitting down and looking around you, but sitting down and on your phone, unless you're on, like, a lockup that's like my fucking thing with the rope on that show. Like, that was one of those jobs where I was like, I am far enough away from set. I literally am holding a door open. Let me sit down.
Yeah, you don't want to sit down when you're around certain people, but I want to give PH to have the option where it's like, if you are on that lockup that's on the other side of the door outside on West Bumblefuck, you should be able to sit down.
Yes. And I think being able to give yourself a break that the people don't really let you have.
We got to start fostering, like, that type of environment where people should be okay with taking breaks. Just like it took COVID for everybody to learn it's okay that if you're sick, you don't come into work.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, this is one of those things that we should also adopt where it's just like, it's okay to, like, take a break, like, to rest, you know?
You mean like how my full appendix burst? Remember that?
Oh my God. And you were, like, still working? It's fucking crazy.
Throwing up black, and I was like going to the set medic, and I'm like, what happened? I was like, oh my God, like, I feel so bad. And he was like, it's probably your period.
What? Wow. What did he say you had your period?
He's like, do you want some Midol? It's probably just your period. I'm like, I've had my period for a long time. I know what a period feels like. This is not that.
Less 86 male set medic.
Girl. Got that. 86 sexism. Let's 86 racism.
Let's 86 it all,
world
bitch.
Peace. I would love world peace.
Oh, wow. I'm Alexis and I approve this message. Okay. Great segment. Let's 86 all that shit we just said.
Stop it. Get some help.
Let's take a break. When we come right back, we're going to play some games. Welcome back to the Martini's Up podcast. We playing games with more than just these guys' emotions. We playing games with each other. Okay, so we are going to play a game that I haven't come up with a name for, but I'll just, I guess it's just guess that phrase.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a definition of something, and Amber will guess the phrases.
Got it.
And it's all industry jargon, so for those of my friends who are out there who are still trying to learn something from this podcast, this will teach you something too. It's like a vocabulary game.
Oh my God, what if I get it wrong?
That would be really embarrassing.
I know. Wait, tell me let me look at all of them first.
No, absolutely not. Okay, here we go. Now you know this is fair. A place where everybody convenes, where usually actors are, where the key second is.
Honey wagon. Space camp.
Yes.
Space camp.
Ding, ding.
Or what I called it, we called it space camp because it was very far away from everything else that was important.
The space camp. Oh, actually, I never thought of that. Okay. The union of people who transport everybody from one place to another.
Teamster.
She's doing well so far. She's 2 for 2. The next one. I'm going to the bathroom, but I want to say it in public, but I don't want everybody to know. Oh.
Or 10-2 if it's a poop. I used to do, you say like, oh, like if you say you got it like 10-3, that's just like, I'm going to be gone for a while.
I'm diarrhea.
I'm like, I'm going to be out. Like, I'm like, listen, I'm not just going 10-1. I'm going 10-3.
And you should take somebody to channel, whatever. Anyway.
I usually just call somebody else. I would call them to 2 first. And I'd be like, yo, I'm going to go pee-pee real quick. I'm going to be right back. Or I'm like, all right, I'm going to be gone a minute. Like, I'm going to be out.
You should tell me that all the time.
I got to go. Bye.
Speaking of, when you need speaking of poop, when you need to say something that's kind of private or you have an extended long sentence, where do you go with that?
Well, I think that's a loaded question because some people go to like 2 or 3, but like if you're real tight with somebody, you have like a code word that you'll use, and then you'll all secretly go to like a different channel.
When you use that code word.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like I used to have a thing with my background helper with Brandon. It used to be any time that he called me AJ, then that really meant go to 13. But if I called him Brandon Denise Core, that meant go to. Oh, should I say his full? No, I should. I mean, that's not his real middle name. That's not his real middle name. Brandon Denise Core, go to 2, and then we'd go to 13. Like, did you see that fake butt pad that was in that boy's butt? Why did he put that in? Did he think it's not? It looks real? Is that what he's doing that for?
Take that shit to 13.
Did you see Diego's hair? Is it a wig? It looks like a wig.
I'm really happy you guys do not cloud Channel 2 with that bullshit. But basically, let's go to Channel 2.
Hey!
Go into Channel 2. You are 1, 2, 3, 4 for 4. Wow, not an idiot. Last question, okay?
Oh.
The last shot of the evening.
Martini.
Yes, and why is this podcast called Martini's Up?
Because it's the last one, Martini.
I genuinely tried to think of like, what's the best time of the day for a PA? Probably on the last shot of the night.
On the last shot. The Martini, or like, you know what I mean? You always have like you know, the Abbey, which some people know, which is the Abbey Singer, which was the second to last shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then my all-time favorite one is somebody coined the JFK. The JFK, where you think it's 1 shot, but it's really 2 shots.
2 shots. Very dark.
Very dark,
to a greenie.
But it is very funny.
Okay, well that was Guess That Phrase. Thank you. That's my first game. I don't know if I'll keep doing games, but Amber, you won the pleasure of being around me for more than an hour. Woo! Sending trophies in the mail. We'll take a break, and then when we come right back, we are gonna move on to the last segment of the show, guys. It's almost over.
When is it? Tell me. When is it?
Like,
is it a secret?
Well, you'll know when you come back. We're back. Welcome to the Martini's Up podcast.
It was so long.
I know. Such a long break. I know, right? We are on the last segment. I know you're really happy because it's probably been about 2 hours at this point. But we're on the last segment of the show. I've been having a good time. What about you?
Me too. I've been having a great time.
Fun stuff. So everybody who knows me or the podcast at this point knows I like to end it on a positive note.
Oh.
So we've been talking about all the shitty things that come with the film industry, some of the good things, but let's end it positive. We're all happy to be here at the end of the day. I think we have some sort of a passion if we're still in it. And I wanted to end it, and I always like to end it on a note talking about another industry that we could talk shit about.
Oh.
Yeah, because we're casting stones in the glass house. So we're going to talk about someone else's industry, all right?
Let's do it.
So welcome to, can we talk about music for a second?
Oh, God.
I missed you, darling. While you've been gone.
I know recently in my last 2 episodes, we kind of ended up talking about film again. What can I say? We're film people here. We're film and TV people. But I'm going to try to really make sure that this segment is dedicated to pure fuckery in the music industry. That is why I created it. We're going to talk about somebody else's shit. And let's start the thing off. I don't know how equipped you are with like ratchet shit that goes on, but have you ever heard of this guy Blueface?
I feel like I've heard
and his girlfriend Kashawn, the chick with the missing tooth.
I just can't explain.
No.
Blueface, okay? I'm gonna make sure to put a little soundbite, but bust down, Tatiana.
Bust down, Tatiana. Bust down, Tatiana.
I want to see you bust down.
Yeah.
That guy, basically a one-hit wonder, has somehow fucking like eclipsed his own fame for something else. So now, rather than being a rapper, he's exclusively changed his brand to like clout chaser.
They do anything for clout.
So all he does is these like random things to like keep people looking at him, but I don't remember him actually releasing any real music.
Right.
Any Blueface fans out there, which I doubt exists, please DM me. Let me know if I'm full of shit, but don't know any music from this guy. But basically, let's start here. Blueface creates a fake Bad Girls Club, which did a lot of research. Shout out to my girl Jada. It's your birthday while we're recording this. Thanks for this. But me and my friend Jada did a lot of research, and we discovered that the show was actually on OnlyFans. So it was an OnlyFans exclusive of a Bad Girls Club remake where he gets a bunch of bitches in the same house that are like vying for his love. So it's like Flavor of Love mixed with Bad Girls Club because they're all ratchet stripper types and shit.
Cause I'm not scared of you, Flo. I don't give a if you're from New York, bitch. I'm from the mother Bay.
And basically they fight a lot, they do a lot of crazy shit. He meets this girl named Krishan Rock, and she loses her teeth in one of the fights over him, and it's a whole fucking thing, but she keeps it toothless, so she's just a toothless girl.
Did it for you, Blue. The tooth out.
And like that's his
and like
girlfriend.
that's her thing. Okay.
And she like, I don't know if she won, we don't know what happened to that show, but essentially they become the couple that spawns out of that show.
Right.
And like he's like always disrespecting her, humiliating her, filming her while she's throwing up and drunk on herself. Oh, and she's fought his mother, his sisters, this very ratchet, but like I love him, I'ma die for him. She's got his face tattooed, full face tattoo on her neck. She's got like several other tattoos of him. She thinks she's the love of his life. She's like, I think significantly younger than him. I don't know how much younger, but she's young. And she's just fucking crazy. The bitch is irate. But all of this has worked for them. That whole thing has worked, and now they're this kind of this entity. Krishan has a new show. She's part of like the Baddies spinoff on Zeus. And yeah, things seem to be working out, but like, what do you think? Does that sound fucking crazy?
I mean, that does sound fucking crazy. I mean, I think the music industry as a whole is fucking crazy. Like, anytime that you hear anything like that, or even like, I don't know, I mean, not, and I haven't heard anything specifically about this, but like of other shit that happened, like when that Elvis movie came out and everybody was talking about like, hey, you remember how Elvis was like married to like a whole 12-year-old? Like, what?
Just
like
things.
That.
Things just go over people's head in the music industry. My real point about that whole story though was like, she seems crazy just from what I told you, right?
Yeah.
The bitch seems kind of loose and he seems kind of like an abusive asshole. What if it's all a sham? And that's what the music industry is today, is like these personas created.
Well, because you said that he created the OnlyFans show, right?
Yeah, to make it.
So it's kind of like he's like her boss, and is like almost like if she were to be an actor, like I'm sure it's kind of like, hey, like if you keep this like charade up with me, then like we'll be making a lot of money. Like I'm sure that there's plenty of fucking people in the music industry who are not like actually together, but they're like just PR relationships of like, oh, we're just like, you know, trying to get people talking about us, and then we're like, and by the way, see my new single, it's called Sweethearts. Like it's just, I don't know who I was just then. A person took over me. Like that's, like I think that's always the thing, is like, oh, this is PR. Like, oh,
yeah, it's like kind of made up. So essentially, like you think Taylor Swift dated all those guys really just to like cash in a huge check?
You thought I was feeling you? No. That nigga a munch.
The thing is that's weird with him is that if he's not making any new music, then what is he promoting? Just like
that's the new thing. It's just like clout. It's the promote. It's like the promotion pays for like is the experience. The promoting of other stuff. I don't even know.
What do you do? Then what do you do?
You only needed to do one thing. Hypothetically.
You just had the one song.
He just had the one song, and that's all you need. It's like the same thing as being on some shitty reality show and then being able to work club appearances your whole life.
Oh yeah.
It's just like we don't need any more tricks from you, pony. You just come show up to it. I don't know. I don't really get the club appearance thing either. Like,
because like who's like that excited to go see somebody from like the Jersey Shore?
Central Cab.
Can I get a taxi for 6 people?
Is the cab for you, sir?
Yes.
And what is your name, sir?
Situation.
Huh?
Situation.
One moment.
Hello, Sanchez. Who are we going to pick up?
Situation.
I know, and then to be like 20
if you see them
feet
like
from
out,
them.
if you see like them like out in life, you're like, oh shit, is that Pauly D? But like, if you're just like, I'm not gonna go somewhere. No offense to Pauly D. I mean, if he hears this, I mean, I would come see you totally. I would.
I guess I would if it was free.
If it was, yeah, I'm not about like.
Sorry, Pauly D. I'm not spending any money on you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
Would you spend money on me?
Yeah, but would you spend money on us? I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, you know, don't be saying something if you're not gonna reciprocate.
When
Like
you put it into perspective.
Like, would you come see me?
Yeah, would you see me, Pauly D? Hands are here. Anyways, music, huh? That's the music industry for me as a as a whole in a nutshell. Just very like.
But isn't that kind of everything though? Is like I feel like even like like the modeling industry is kind of everybody wants to kind of be like an influencer now. It's like you don't have to have a thing. You just have to.
Yeah.
You know.
They coming to see me. They coming to see the Temptations. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Yeah, I think that's like what's kind of shitty about it though. I guess you can accuse the film industry of doing the same thing. But here's the thing between the film industry and the music industry is like these actors are not, they're claiming to be actors. They're claiming to pretend their whole lives.
Yes.
So it's like you don't care what to expect from them in the real world because like they haven't really told us anything. All you've seen is a character from them. The music industry is like, that's you. Hey, I'm Nicki Minaj.
What's your name, P.O.B., so they calling you Bob?
And I'm like also like amazing at it. Like it's just weird. Like you present a brand as yourself, and then I'm supposed to. That must be tough for the artist too. Like
that's why a lot of them don't have their real names as their like persona, because then you can kind of separate your art from like your thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of genius actually. But also certain things you do online, like I'm just gonna be looking at you either way. It doesn't really matter what name is in front of it.
It's almost as if people don't like, you know, I mean, like it's almost as if people don't even think about like when they like a lot, especially like actors, like musicians, like when they post content, like I really think that someone's like else is looking at that, being like, hey, maybe you should post that.
If anybody is watching this, don't post your feelings.
I wanted to be a publicist before I got into this part of the world because I was just like, it's just waking up at 4 a.m. to, so they caught me with a dick in my mouth. Now what? It's just like, okay, let me get out of bed, Mr. President, and see what we can do. It's just like, what? Like you just, that mixed with a lot of writing, it's like the urgency mixed with the boring just gives me a fucking headache.
God. Speaking of music industry, did you see that Britney Spears, the voicemails that got let out, like the videos that got released about Britney Spears?
The Kevin Federline
post. So Kevin Federline, this fucking guy, Kevin Federline posted these 3 videos that were like, this is the trauma that my sons have been going through in there, blah blah. Meanwhile, let me just throw out there that her kids are about to turn 18, so he's about to be off that fucking teat. So you know he's trying to like get back hold of her money, because like after that spouse, you know, you're done. Like they don't have to pay him anymore.
After the kids turn 18,
after the kids turn 18, you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay it anymore. Child support.
Now you're just gonna be a drunk bitch.
So like he posted these 3 videos that were like, my son sent me these and blah blah, and it's like her kids being absolute little fucking dickheads, where they're like, I only acted like that because you tried to take away my phone, and she's like, this is my motherfucking house. And I was like, I've had way worse said to me, and had way whatever, because like that I was listening to this, I'm like, where is the part that he's like upset about? Because like this is called being a parent. This is called like disciplining your probably. I always imagine her sons are like the kids from Ricky Bobby.
Boys, how was school today?
Well, the teacher asked me what was the capital of North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I said Washington, D.C.
Bingo. Nice.
She said, no, you're wrong. I said, you got a lumpy butt. She got mad at me and yelled at me, and I pissed in my pants.
You know what I mean? When they're like, I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey. Like that's, in my mind, that's Britney Spears' children. Because like, there's no way that these fucking mansion kids, these fucking absolute, and I'm saying this, they could come fight me.
Do I look like I give a fuck? Because I don't.
Their entire life they've been told that their mother doesn't matter, and that like we're spending all of her fucking money, but they're like, she's nothing, she doesn't matter, she's
so they probably
crazy.
Treat her the same way.
They're seeing everybody else treating their mother, and then they're like, why do I have to listen to this bitch now? Like now I'm about to be 18 years old, now I have to listen to my mom. Like that's the
point.
And it's like I will say this, and you can ask me this if you ever see me out in public, I believe more kids need to get hit. I think that you should be allowed to beat your kids.
Ass.
Beat your kids. I'm sorry. Like it's just, I think the idea of like this of and this comes from someone who is not a parent at all. But it's
Right?
just,
Never had a
but I'm
kid.
saying
I'll beat your kids
I'll beat
for
your
you.
kids if you need me to. Like, call me up. I will beat your kids. I'll do it. Like,
Life
it's
is
just
short. Beat that ass today.
It's just I think that there's not enough kids getting beat, and that's the problem.
That is the problem. That's why they're acting up. My question is, like, so I don't want to hear anything from Britney Spears ever again. I'm happy we freed her, but I'm kind of done with her. She gives me a fucking headache. Every time I see her, I've seen those fucking star tattoos by her pussy, like, more than I've seen her in the last couple of
It's like
years.
the
And it's
first time
so
that she's
alarming.
been like out and about. Like, I think it's essentially it's
And
like
it's like, pull her back, but like, don't. I know that sounded
I know.
controversial. Just, I don't want to see her. I don't. Kevin Federline, I don't want to see that motherfucker either.
I mean, like, let's
I'm
just-
done with the whole trailer park. Let's
Yeah,
just
like, get
move
rid-
on. Like, let's leave them as the rich whites that they are, and stay
Yep,
out of their
and get-
business.
yep.
I'm done with that. We talk shit about music. Let's say one exact good thing about the industry, or one thing that's like, stick around. It might be worth it one day.
If you find a project that you feel passionately about, to see the final end product is 100% worth it. To get to, even if it's hard, even if you're on your feet, to work on something you actually care about and to see the finished product makes it all worth it. Like, you could be like me, passed out of heat stroke, but that have fully faint from heat stroke, to have insane amount of background, whatever, but then to be able to see that finished product of like, holy shit, we fucking did that. Like, we did that, and people are gonna watch it. I love that. I love the art that people are able to make.
We don't need television. Not as long as we have our imagination.
I know, and I love being a part of, like, again, I always say this, the motley crew of individuals you'll never have met in your entire fucking life.
Yeah.
But now we're just hanging out with the numbers people and the art kids and the construction dudes. It gets better, and I hate to sound like a fucking YouTube video from 2006, but honestly, don't waste your time like I sort of just did for the last, like, 3.5 to 4 years. Figure out what you want, and it's easier said than done, but, like, start making connections the day of. Figure out what you want to do immediately, else you'll be stuck there, and then that's when it gets shitty. As usual, if you're listening to the Martini's Up podcast, I would like to say you're already smarter. I had a kid and his mom literally try to run me over with their cars. If you're listening, which I did tell you to listen to the podcast, this is probably kind of awkward now because your mom did try to kill me with her car, which is a conversation we can have on another day, kid, whenever you know, if you actually ended up listening. But be persistent, be consistent, and also, like, try to pay attention to all the tips that people are giving you. I know it's going to sound like a lot of people are trying to big dick you, but speaking from experience, you want to listen to the girl who was, like, punched up into a ball under a box and make a game show go. You want to listen to those kind of people. They've been around just long enough. That's it. Thank you for coming on the show, Amber. That's been Martini's Up. See you on the next one.
I just can't explain.